Sometimes parody is probably one of the best devices to drive home some points when it seems like all hope is lost. This conversation about the consoles and their position right now is very interesting because, for the most part, a lot of the PlayStation fans, I remember when I was starting to make these points in these cases, that PlayStation was in a very strange place. Activision was about to get into the hands of their competitor. Seemed like nobody really cared to listen. A lot of PlayStation fans have proven to me that they're donkeys that are way less stiff-necked than they are. Let's listen to Sarbrovian, who is a PlayStation fan that has more than, more recently anyways, discovered Game Pass and discovered what Xbox is doing in the gaming industry. Because you've heard from me, I'm the PC guy. Now you're hearing from a PlayStation guy about what PlayStation has basically encountered and how a lot of this is pretty much, in my opinion anyways, has the PlayStation fans to play in it.
You know, PlayStation fans, if you put your money where your mouth was, if you invested as much time and resources into actually supporting the PlayStation and buying its first-party games, instead of just typing away on Twitter endlessly, PlayStation wouldn't be suffering the way it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I remember when I made my Astrobot video. I said in that video, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 65 million consoles sold, and Astrobot is doing less than 2 million. And many people were talking, oh, well, it's game of the year. What are you talking about? And so I started to quiz them. Did you buy it? Did you play it? Did you encounter it? Were you, enamored by it? What was it? And I was getting some responses from people saying, honestly, I didn't play it. Now, PlayStation fans like that, they were basically heckling me and didn't play Astrobot. I blocked them. Because again, you have to understand that these are folk who have no skin in the game. And this is the challenge that we've seen. For the most part, these folk are more interested in playing some console war rather than actually playing the games, or at least even supporting the games. Like, I'm the PC guy, and I'm supporting PlayStation games even more than some of the folk that are even on PlayStation or on Twitter or on YouTube fighting about it. I'll double dip from PlayStation games. Sure, I buy it on a sale, but it's $8 more than PlayStation would have gotten from you on the PlayStation platform. And this particular reality right now has really exposed this talk about Xbox players not buying games. You remember that one? I'm going to show you something after, Sabrovian is done speaking here.
Trust me when I say everything that's happening right now, all the game cancellations, bruv, all 9 of them, all the studio shutdowns, the fact that the PlayStation games are all coming out on PC, that is on you because you don't support your own platform, my guy. It's funny that people talk bad about me because I'm enjoying Xbox Series X. They like to type away at me. But I'm a bigger PlayStation fan than most you people will ever be because I turned up and I supported it. Guys, you wouldn't believe how little the PlayStation community actually support the PlayStation.
I know. I've done the math and I've done the numbers for them, Sarbrovian. And this is something crazy. You know what a lot of these folk asked? Do you know what they say? Let me run some numbers that I ran, and I showed the PlayStation community, like, guys, you're lacking. I took a calculator, and I took God of War Ragnarok. Solid IP in 2018, did very well. When Ragnarok was coming out, the PS5 was also a thing. At that point, PS5 was around, 40-ish million consoles sold or something like that. Even still, when you take a look at everything that was already involved in this whole conversation, you'll realize that at the time, even the console sales and the PS4 had over 120 million PlayStation units that God of War Ragnarok could have been purchased on. The game sold 15 million copies, coming out about 7% of the entire PlayStation platform. When I make these kinds of comparisons, I do things with Astrobot and stuff. Do you know what PlayStation fans tell me? They're like, well, why don't you go ahead and measure, say, other games with the entirety of all of the PC gaming community? Well, it's that simple. Your PlayStation game is selling exclusives that it claims that you guys are buying the consoles for. If we compared with Nintendo, if we just say, okay, you know what? Why don't we just not talk about PC? Nintendo sold 72 million copies of Mario Kart 8. Compared to their over 100 and something million units. That is a much bigger percentage than God of War Ragnarok, is a bigger percentage than, Horizon or any of the big PlayStation games have actually been able to touch in all of the PlayStation consoles. So if any of the PlayStation games with all of that presence of PlayStation units cannot push those numbers, then there seemingly is a challenge within the entire PlayStation ecosystem and its claim to exclusivity. It basically translates to the, outlying person that's looking from outside that y'all aren't really buying your games. You're talking about the games. You're talking about the sales, but you're not really buying the games. It's very interesting at the end of the day to see your talking heads also. They sit down on podcasts, they talk. I mean, I'm a YouTuber. I'm not going to say, there's anything wrong with it. However, are they compelling enough to have you guys be excited about the games? Or are they more compelling enough to be hype men more than anything else? Because if you think about it, look at someone like Nib. Nib is over here doing damage control for being the agency that propagated that big lie article and posting updates and pictures and sales and, and all of this nonsense, right? He was out here basically saying, well, if you look at PlayStation sales and blah, 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 he may have deleted a tweet. This dude deletes tweets very fast. It's hard to keep up. You gotta take screenshots. I already made it. Oh, there it is. Sorry, he didn't delete it. I'm just, he was showing you all the numbers. Look at Ratchet and Clank. Look at Last of Us Part 2. Look at what they sold in their first year, their second year, their third year. My dude has got data all over the place, right? But he did not necessarily think that, hey, man, there's another company that's actually much more involved in exclusivity that does a way better job that we can actually measure these metrics too. So these numbers, even though they may be selling and yielding profit on the first year, maybe second year for PlayStation, on the long term, there's not that much sales to keep them going like Nintendo. So what do? They have to look elsewhere at the live service front. And who didn't buy the exclusives? You. Shuhei had to tell y'all to buy remasters. Bro, if you all had bought the games themselves to the extent that you need them as exclusives to support the platform, I don't think Shuhei or, Herman would have to be worrying about remakes and remasters. I don't think so. Do you see where the irony is?
Let me just give you a few examples so then we can get some context as to what is actually happening when it comes to PlayStation. Astrobot 2, bro. Game of the Year 2024. Critically very successful. What percentage of PlayStation users turned up to buy this game?
Thank God somebody is actually doing this percentage count. Oh my God. I thought I was crazy. These guys were coming after me saying, oh, the games are fine, it's just because, and I'm like, yo, do you not see where the problem is? Oh my God, I'm so glad that somebody from PlayStation side is doing this.
60%, 50, 40, 20, no. I mean, you can try and spin that any way you want, but that is a pathetic turnout for a first-party PlayStation game. But what about the rest of them in the library? Let's take...
Subrevian, they're going to spin it. I have the videos. I have the receipts. I mean, the comment section are open. Go on my channel and search Astrobot. Search Game of the Year. Search God of War Ragnarok. You're going to see the spin. In fact, this is what I've said, that they make donkeys look less stiff-necked, than anything else.
Take a look. God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
Kratos versus Vikings, my guy. Surely the PlayStation fans turned up in mass numbers to buy this game, to get their hands on Kratos versus Thor. Surely. How much percentage do you think arrived? Well, not just those titles.
It was when I did the calculations at first, it was about 7 point something percent. Guys, this is a fundamental challenge with PlayStation's business model. They claim that they want to go exclusive, or that they have these exclusives, that this is why, and their talking heads claim that these exclusives are the reason that their consoles sell. But that's not the truth. Their consoles have basically been able to sell because of third-party games that are usually money-hatted and locked to them as one piece of the puzzle. I'm not saying that's entirely the case. Sure, maybe there's some people that like PlayStation exclusives. And yes, they are. I can even call myself as one of those. I have my PlayStation to that effect. I buy them, play them when I want to, and in some cases, if they're good enough for me, I double dip. The only reason I've not double dipped in Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy is because they would not give that patch on PlayStation for free. They're selling you a texture pack, an upgrade to 60 FPS for $10. I said, get the heck out of here with that. I would have gone ahead and basically bought that game again on PC because I like the game. Why would I? And so I had to ask myself, why am I even bothering doing the work of what so-called PlayStation fans would be doing and double dipping and being a gamer and wanting to, I mean, I'm open. I even bought Spider-Man for my kid. I got a freebie one from a GPU I bought, still bought one for the kid. And PlayStation fans are going to come out here and sit here and talk about my exclusives. Nah, man, y'all aren't buying enough.
Man, it's across the board, bruv. Demon Souls.
Oh. Now, to be fair, the Xbox side will more than likely also see something similar in that regard, right? But Xbox ain't sitting here playing exclusivity with you. They've just launched all their games on PC, and they're bringing some to you guys now on PlayStation. So there's no posturing for Xbox. There's no facade here. They basically accepted the reality that they want to pursue.
Look at that! What is that, bro? That's an abysmal number. It's the same Horizon. Look at that turnout, my guy. It's appalling. Where are you people? Why aren't you putting your hands in your pockets and supporting your games? Ghost of Tsushima, my guy. Wait, is that right? Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of... That game. Look at these numbers, bruv. And of course, Sony are making money on them. Look, let's not get this twisted. They're not going broke. Sony aren't like losing money. They're earning profit on all of these games, despite the small turnout. Because it's still, at a full price game, they're making money. But when you pair that with some terrible decision making, like Concord, which cost them what? $500 trillion? They're trying to find a way to make more money, my guy, right?
And that's exactly where all of these gaming agencies are going. That's simply it. If you don't like the reality, you're going to come on the Video Game Vice School channel and be throwing some really, childish comments out there. Well, at least I saw a comment this morning. Well, at least PlayStation is still a console. Well, I guess you've lowered the standard. If that's your standard, that at least it's still a console. Well, good for you. I mean, enjoy. But again, you've realized that your position has shifted, and all the noise that y'all were making, the market couldn't be bothered. At about 120, 140 or so million units that Nintendo Switch sold, for them to have sold Mario Kart 8 at 70 million units, that is probably what I think is maybe one of the most impressive things that I've seen. No doubt about that. That is almost a 50% conversion. That by itself is actually the testament, against the entire conversation of PlayStation posturing to want to have an exclusivity standpoint that makes any sense. It's all just so weird at the end of the day. Do you understand what I mean? It's just all so wild. So again, where are the PlayStation fans representing? What are y'all talking about? What are y'all doing? Perhaps your platform was maybe a designated platform for something else other than what you tried to portray it to be. It's that simple. Talk to me in the comment section. Appreciate y'all so much. Peace out.